Assalamualaikum students. Today we are going to discuss about the two critical molecules in cellular biology, ATP, which is termed as Adenosine Triphosphate, and NAD, which is termed as Nicotinamide Adenine Dinucleotide. These molecules play a very important role in energy transfer and cellular metabolism. Today we will be discussing about the chemical nature of ATP and NAD, the high energy bonds in ATP, and the role of ATP as energy currency of the cell, and the last we will be discussing about the structure and function of NAD as a coenzyme involved in redox reactions. And by the end of this topic you will have a deeper understanding of how ATP differ from NAD and how their structure differs from each other and how their function differ from each other. Okay, so let's start the topic. ATP and NAD. ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, it is actually a molecule that plays as a role of primary energy carrier in the cell. It consists of three main parts. Firstly, the adenine, which is a base, a nitrogenous base, and here the adenosine, the ribose sugar, and collectively this adenosine and ribose are termed as adenosine. Okay, this is adenine, which is a nitrogenous base. This is ribose sugar, and collectively these are termed as adenosine. Here three phosphate groups are attached with the adenosine, and if there is only one phosphate, then it is termed as adenosine monophosphate, and when there are two phosphate groups attached with this adenosine, it is termed as adenosine diphosphate. When there are these three phosphate groups attached with this adenosine, we call it as adenosine triphosphate. I mean, there are three phosphate groups attached with the adenosine, and these bonds joining the phosphate groups are actually high in energy, and when these bonds are broken down, a lot of energy is released, and that energy is used for the cell to perform various cellular activities. So the role of ATP as energy currency. ATP, which is often called as energy currency of the cell, this is because ATP can be easily transported and used by different parts of the cell to fuel necessary processes. Okay, so when ATP is broken down, here you can see in the image, when this ATP is broken down, it forms adenosine diphosphate, and like ADP. When ATP is broken down, it forms ADP and releases phosphate, and here a lot of energy is released. Okay, so this energy is released within the cell. Cell uses this energy to perform various cellular functions. Next on we have NAD, or Nicotinamide Adenine Dinucleotide. It is actually an essential coenzyme in the cell. Its structure is composed of two nucleotides. You can see in the image here, it has two parts. The first part consists of nicotinamide, sugar and phosphate. This is the first part, nicotinamide, sugar and phosphate. The second part consists of adenine, sugar and phosphate. Okay, like NAD structure is composed of two nucleotides. First this nucleotide, second this nucleotide. First nucleotide consists of nicotinamide, sugar and phosphate. This is the first nucleotide, and here this adenine, ribose and phosphate. This is the second nucleotide. Okay, so these two nucleotides are connected to each other by their phosphate groups, forming a dinucleotide. Okay, so dinucleotide, which is when the two nucleotides are joined by their phosphate groups. Role of NAD as coenzyme. You can say that coenzyme. Okay, so NAD act as a coenzyme in the redox reaction. Redox reaction where oxidation and reduction occur simultaneously. Those reactions are termed as redox reactions. So in these reactions in which electrons are transferred between two molecules, in these reactions you can say NAD is converted to NAD plus or NADH, and here NADH is the reduced form and NAD plus is the oxidized form. Okay, electron transfer occur from one molecule to another, and these reactions are like important in cellular respiration and energy production. Okay, so let me conclude the whole topic. You have studied about the chemical structure of ATP and NAD, which are very important in cellular respiration. ATP, which act as the energy currency of the cell, with high energy phosphate groups, forming various cellular activities. You can say they are fueling various cellular activities, and NAD, which functions as coenzyme, which is important in redox reactions for the production of energy through cellular respiration. So this was all about today's topic. Thank you for your attention, and if you have any further questions or query related to this topic, you can ask in the comments below.